Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to DevChatter. As you probably figured out if you are new here, my name is Brendan, and I am the host of the DevChatter live stream here on Twitch. So, if you are new to our streams or the recordings of these, if you're watching one, we are a pretty open community, so feel free to discuss over there in the chat if you're here live. And if you're not here live, you can see what's going on in the chat. Feel free to comment below or anything like that. DevChatter is a very open and welcoming community. We do try to help people with stuff. Obviously, we're not Stack Overflow, but we do like to discuss programming topics, career stuff, things like that, as most everyone here is either a professional software developer or is someone that is learning to program and is trying to get better at it. Either way, even if you are a professional developer, we hope that you're here trying to learn and have fun with all of us. So welcome. I see people saying hi in chat. Glad to see you all here on this nice Saturday. So Stoolpenner, hello. S&B, greetings. Welcome. Hey, Katrina. Splinter, welcome. I am doing pretty well. Might just be me, but I'm quiet. Does it sound like I'm quiet to everybody? It's telling me that my volume's pretty good. Okay. Alright, I was gonna say, like, my levels are what they normally are, so, okay. Well, glad people can hear pretty well. And, thank you for at least, checking on that. I like to make sure that it's, not a problem, so thank you very much for, chiming in, everyone. So, let's see, last time when we were working on this, so a week ago, we were working on our status effects in Final Fantasy VII. So what we were building was essentially the commands to undo a status effect. So in the game Final Fantasy VII, it has turn-based combat, and we are providing chat with the ability to apply status effects directly to any of the characters that are in the player's party. When we do that, we are essentially going into the game, writing over the memory, and telling it, hey, this is the status effect you should apply, and it does it. When we want to reverse it, we tell it, hey, this is the status effects that, you should remove, and it does it. Now, what we did at the end of the stream last time was we got all that set up and adjusted the settings for the status effects, I believe. I think we had it set up so that we were ready to adjust them, actually, because we wanted to have the cure cost for them, which right now you'll notice I have all the cure costs set to 100. And that works fine for now. We'll obviously want to change up what those are, but they are there. The next thing that we want to change is this. I left us a to-do inside of our code. So, for anyone that follows this stream, you'll know that here's my stance on how to essentially record additional work that needs to be done on a project. I like two things. My stream title's off by 0.1. I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't even know what my stream title is right now. But, what is my stream title right now? Edit stream info. Oh, yeah, that is a good point. I am probably off. I don't think I upgraded this project yet. So I think the project is still on 3.3.0. But anyway, I'll do that so we won't have to worry about it. Because maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong, I have no idea. Alright, so for anyone that missed what Mihai was talking about, in the stream title it says that we're doing .NET Core 3.0, and 3.1 might be what we're switching to, as that is a new version of .NET Core that has come out. C#8 .NET Core 3.1 is the current version of essentially Microsoft Stack development. So here's the deal. When there's additional work that you notice that needs to be done, there's one thing that you need to do, and that is you need to make sure that you have noted that somewhere so that either future you or another developer on your project can get to that task. Common ways that we as developers will record that kind of thing: we might record a GitHub issue. So if your team uses GitHub issues, you might go in and say, hey, I'm going to create an issue for this. I might say something along the lines of, what is a current bug in our system? We might say, command words for status effects allow duplicates. And we will label this as a bug, and we will, for details, we'll say, we should remove any duplicates that are added by a user, so that all status effect command words are unique. So I'm going to make that one word, since that is a thing in our system. Okay, so I can create this issue in GitHub. Now, that is something that I can obviously do. I also recommend when people do those, that they make some kind of note in the code, and I recommend putting in a to-do comment for those, and it sort of becomes like, almost like putting a flag out somewhere so that someone else can find it. Because when I'm looking, I'll see that, oh wait, hang on, there's a to-do, what's the to-do? Oh yeah, that's the thing I'm working on. Okay, so I must need to change this right here. And in fact, this is probably the spot where I'm going to change it. So I want to remove duplicates. How do we do that? There's a couple of ways. So let's see what I'm talking about. So right now, if we go and get in a combat, which I will go do real fast. So I mentioned turn-based combat games, so we're going to go ahead and bring up a combat so we can talk about what we're doing and actually see what it is. Anyone that's a regular and has watched a stream where we worked on Interactive 7 before knows what I'm about to bring up, but let's go ahead and show it real fast just so you can see what's going on. So the combat will start, and then I'm going to click out. So when I don't have the cursor on the screen, the game pauses. So when I click out, so if you see the game pause, that just means I clicked out of the screen for a moment. So I could apply the status effect poison to all three characters, and that will poison all three of them. So you'll notice they all drop down into, you know, this like lowered down pose, and they're all glowing green. So that means that all those characters are poisoned. Okay. In order to cause that effect, I used the PSN command. So that's just shorthand for poison. If we take a look at poison, you'll see that I could have typed in PSN or I could have typed in poison. But maybe we want to allow bio as an option as well. So when I type in bio, I can now use bio as a term to mean that. So I could say, what did we make the command? Cure bio all. And I think that should, okay, so it removed them. It messed up on cloud, so there are some visual effects that we haven't worked out perfectly. You'll notice the cloud is still glowing green, but he is standing. So because of the way that we're applying these, there's not a command action happening as part of it, so the game sometimes doesn't always get the visuals updated, but the state of the character should have modified correctly, and he should no longer be poisoned, despite that he's glowing green. Duplicate detection prevention is a huge topic in the real world, and at work you have 900 CRM users, and they all are hell-bent on creating as many duplicate records as possible. Yeah, so S&B's correct. That is one of the big challenges that you have to deal with in like real-world programming, is how do you prevent people from making duplicates? The answer that I would give to most people is essentially the safe way to do it is to attempt to... oh, that's funny. Cloud just dropped down when we did that because I think it's because I wasn't clicked in there, so things didn't update correctly when Strife tried to apply that. So in the real world, when we're trying to do these things, a lot of times we want to lock down the entity that someone's messing with to prevent duplicates in some fashion. If it's within an entity that we can lock on. So that's one way to help prevent it, is you lock it, and if someone attempts to come in afterwards and is creating a duplicate, you can report that back to them that they attempted to create a duplicate. Now, in our situation, because we're single user, it's a lot easier. So all we have to do is just say, there's only one user editing this data. When they do, check and see, hey, did we have anything extra? Okay, and then just, skip it. So we can kind of get away with that here. However, it's a good phrasing of this. In the real world situation, you're going to have to check and see, do any duplicates exist, and if they do, before you accept that data, you're going to want to reply back to the user and let them know. So in the business world, the challenge that you run into, because you often have multiple users, is you need to decide, at what point do we lock and just say, hey, let me just verify, let me attempt to apply this change and check, are there any duplicates? Okay, I need to report back, because the user needs to do something. In our case, we can decide whether we want to be friendly about it and give the user information, but what I'd like to have happen is if someone, tries to give barrier the name shield, but then also goes into mBarrier and tries to give that shield, right now it accepts it, and that is wrong. We do not want to be able to have two things called shield, because that will break things. But obviously you can understand that someone might create a duplicate name for something like shield. Okay, so how do we fix that? Well, there's a couple of ways to do it. Since all of these controls in our WPF app are bound directly to these properties, essentially what I'm doing is I am taking words and I am spreading it out onto that property. That's why it's displaying as this, comma-separated value. I am doing a little trick, and I will show you our trick because it's kind of neat. I shouldn't have opened that. I should not have opened that. That is the wrong one, and it will take time to open. app.xaml. We want to open this one. So inside of our application, we are using what are called application resources, which allow us to sort of create XAML usable objects that are available to us, and what we created are value converters. So if you look at how we bound this data, which actually I said I didn't want to open this, but hey, I actually did want to open it. If we take a look at the command words, where are the command words? Right here. So our binding says bind to words, which is the name of that property we were looking at. And we said two-way bind it, so essentially we want to set the value of the text box, and when the text box changes, we want to set the value of the property. Okay. Now there's a converter, and this converter is our command words value converter. And you go, well, that's a nice name. Where did that name come from? Well, that name came from right over here. So this is the name that we gave it. If I change this name, it'll change the name we use over there. Now, why did I use this name? I use this name because that matches the name of our class. So I created a class called Command Words Value Converter, and if we take a look at that, over inside of our CS file, you will find that it implements an iValue converter interface, and this is what allows us to do value conversions. So this says, hey, I've got this value. It's not designed to be displayed in XAML because it is a collection, and I can't put a collection in a text box for obvious reasons. Text box wants a string, I gave it a collection of strings. Okay, so the way we get around that is I use this value converter. And what the value converter does is I basically say, hey, if your value is a collection of strings, which words is, then go ahead and join them together and comma separate them. So basically take that collection of words, join them together with commas. So just spits it out. I'm not doing comma space or anything like that. Space is gone. This is just how I'm displaying it. If you wanted to have comma space, you could absolutely, when you're creating it, put in the space in there, or you could separate it with pipes. Doesn't matter. However you want to display it. The trick is that when you go the other way, you need to make sure that you clear that. So what I did is I then said, hey, as long as your value is, and I check to make sure that it's a string, because I want to make sure that it converts correctly. So if this got wired up to some special text box that didn't return a string, I want to immediately know there's a problem. So I want this to, not function that way, because it's not going to work right. We'd have something weird. So I guess maybe I should throw some special exception, but I don't. I probably should. Okay, so when I return this value, I take the string that they gave me, and I say, hey, split that on the comma, removing any empty entries. So if you end it on a comma, so for example, if I put a comma here and click down to the next line, the comma disappears, right? Berserk, foo, and end with a comma, the comma goes away, right? I don't want that comma there. Okay, the other thing that I do is I trim just in case they typed in spaces. I don't want to leave spaces in there. Spaces are never going to be part of our commands, at least at the beginning or the end. And then I to-array it, and that's what gets assigned into our words collection each time. So when they set this, it automatically sets that. Now here's the key. When we send this back into the words collection, it will immediately run this again to redisplay. So that's why if you see me type it in, it will, with a space, it will immediately go and fix it. So you'll see that I put a space here. I can put as many spaces as I want. When I click down here, all the spaces go away. That's because it does both conversions. It accepts it, and then it sends back the updated version to the display. Okay, as a XAML beginner, this is great to know. Glad to hear it, S&B. So what's your take on constants? Shouldn't the comma be in a constant? Stoolpenner, it could be in a constant, technically, but I'm kind of meh on this one being a constant because it's so standard. If I were ever going to change this to display differently, to not use a comma, then I could yank that into one, but I don't really see the need. The other thing that's going to cause a problem here, if I do want to put this in a constant, is this one is a character of the comma, and this one is a string with a comma. So that's the other thing that's going to get weird here, is that like I would almost end up with two, or I would have to two-string the character, and it's like I'm not saving really anything here. Now the one you could call me on is this none value. I maybe shouldn't even put that in there. This maybe should be blank, now that I think about it, but meh, I didn't do it that way. Cucumber, welcome. Thanks for that follow. Host? Not sure what that command's supposed to do. So that's how our value converter works. Okay, so that literally just takes the string, turns it into a collection, and the collection turns it into a string. Easy. Hopefully that made sense to everyone how that conversion was happening. And you'll notice I have a bunch of value converters for other special stuff that we do here in these displays. Okay, so when we get these values back, what I do is I say over here, put it inside of this words property. And when I set these, you'll notice that we assign the backing field from our property, and then we call onPropertyChanged. And this is actually what tells WPF in the XAML to reload that value. So it is actually watching on there. That's what that two-way binding is for the value to change. When it changes, it's going to go in and it's going to, call this. So works out pretty well. Do we have a rainbow going right now? Oh yeah, nice, rainbow. Okay, so this is actually the spot where I want to check for duplicates. So right here. And I'm still debugging, by the way, so these changes aren't going to actually do anything until we stop it, and I'm probably going to get some squigglies because of it. So, how are we going to get the duplicates? There's a couple of things that we can do. We can either say, go to the battle settings, grab the collection of all status effects, so that is one option. First off, let's make a method to do this. Let's say remove duplicates. And we'll say value, so that'll be the remove duplicates passing in the value, which is a string. And let's have it return back a string array as well, because instead of assigning value directly to that, I like the idea of doing this. So we're going to remove the duplicates, return the value into the words collection. So that array is going to get set by that. Okay. So, not implemented. What do we want to do with this? I said one way that we can get these is by going into the battle settings and accessing it that way. So, let's do this for now. We'll just call this the collection of all status effects. So that'll be all status effects. And I'm going to stop the program right now just so that we don't, that's a reasonable color to end on. Okay. Remove duplicates. And we'll just, for now, I'm going to return back value just so that we don't have the compiler error. So we have the collection of all of the settings for the status effects. When we do that, we're going to say all status effects select many. Let's do this. We're going to say where name does not equal name. Okay, so I'm going to say we're going to call this other effects. So I guess I don't necessarily care if they put a duplicate in the same one, so if you want to write poison twice on the poison status effect, I'm less worried about that than I am if you call, you know, poison and regen both poison or something. I don't know why you'd call them that, but maybe you do. So let's actually say other effect words. And now you might say, Brendan, how are you going to do that? Well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to use what's called a select many. And if you haven't seen this in Link before, select many is a little weird, so I will explain what I'm going to do. Select many essentially says, hey, I have a collection. I want you to select a collection on my collection and turn it into one collection. So essentially you can think of this like taking the union of all of your collections and just putting them together and making a big collection. So if I just do that, this will make this is going to be an IEnumerable of string, but it will create that. Okay, so that essentially takes that collection of collections and flattens it out into one big collection. Yeah, exactly. It's like doing a flat map. They call it select many, but you know, whatever helps you to understand it is good. Okay. Yeah, and I apologize. My lighting is messed up, and I'm not going to bother fixing it. So there will be a weird thingy around me. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Nate, welcome to the stream. Janiscu, yes, I did watch the Final Fantasy VII Remake trailer on repeat for about 5 hours. Yeah, so the annoying thing is one of my lights is dying, and it flickered off, and so I just switched it off. So, the light is dying. Okay, I want value except other effect words. And then .toArray. I think that'll work, right? Okay, let's talk about that. And well, thank you for the 16-month resub there, Nate. Welcome to the stream. Hi, Mr. Shoji. And Janiscu, hi, I noticed you were here as well, so welcome everyone. Welcome to the stream. Yes, lighting is always an annoyance. At some point I need to get better lighting, but when I started streaming a couple of years ago, I bought basically the cheapest lighting that I could find, because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to do this very long. So a couple of years ago I was like, well, what's a cheap way to get started? And I was like, well, I could use some nice soft boxes, so I've got those on me, and then I got some other lights to just light up my green screen, and it's the green screen lighting lights that are down. So my green screen is kind of dark right now, so that's why my lighting's messed up. Yeah, I need to upgrade my lighting at some point. Okay, so let's talk about how this code works, the remove duplicates that we're doing here. So what we're doing is we're saying, hey, take in these values that you're trying to set, go grab the list of all the other, all the words that are being used for all of the other status effects, and say, I'm going to keep these, I want these values to be returned except for these ones. So if there are any duplicates here, I want them removed. Couple of problems. Number one, the except does not, as far as I know, have a nice way of getting a comparer. Let's actually, we're gonna ask the internet. I bet the internet has an answer for us. We're gonna say link except ignore case. Yeah, list except comparison ignore case. You got one? So if I do a string compare ordinal ignore case, that'll work. Excellent. Thank you, internet. You're saying I can do that and just grab that reference and yay, okay. I can never remember which class it is that's on, so hence string comparer. Thank you, internet, for answering that question. Okay, so essentially what I've said is, hey, if there are any duplicates of this value in this collection, go ahead and remove them, leave me only with the value ones that are unique, and return that as an array. Let's go give this a try. Hopefully all that made sense to everyone, and I didn't do anything that got too confusing there. I always try to make it so my stream is, like, fairly followable by anyone, regardless of, you know, past experience with programming and the languages and things like that, but I still want to show the cool stuff, so sometimes we gotta explain a little. Alright, so let's try calling, actually, hang on, I'm gonna go to mBarrier first, which is down here, and I'm gonna add shield and shell to its names. So, ooh, wait, do I have shield somewhere else? Shield, and it disappeared, look. And then we're gonna put in shield and shell. And they both disappear because they're used elsewhere. So shield is already down here. Shell is already here, so it took them away. So if I go to barrier and I want to say PSN on barrier, it disappears. However, because I mentioned I don't care about duplicates within the same one, you'll see that I can add sleep however many times I want up there. Oh, it nuked those too? I didn't think it would. Why did it nuke those ones? Do I already remove duplicates within the same thing? Was I already doing that? Maybe I was already doing that. Hang on. I may have already been doing that part. I wasn't doing the other one because we tested that a little bit ago. I was able to add shield to something. Sleep. Let's add those in here. We're going to catch this breakpoint. So the value coming in, what's in this value? Sleep, sleeping, sleep. Okay. And if we jump down to there, where name does not equal name. Yep, where name does not equal sleep. Let's expand the results view. So we're saying the returned value is gonna be 3. Okay, I'm extracting this. I want to see this. That's getting called result right now because I want to look at this. Hey, welcome. What do we got? What's going on here? If SMB has some Essen hives. Oh, by the way, speaking of things like that, we will have channel points starting in 2 days technically. So we will soon have channel points here. I think we're calling them chat thoughts or something like that. Maybe we'll just call them thoughts. I don't know. Greetings, Suna. Welcome. It's going pretty well. Is this results? Oh, right. Remove these, because right now it's setting stuff, so we don't need to worry about it. It's going to remove it removes duplicates when it starts. I forgot to mention that, like, the application is just kind of designed to set all these properties the way it does. So we'll go ahead and connect that again if people really want. Go over to status effects, and if I want to type in the word barrier here, disappears. Good. Let's drop a breakpoint there. I mean, good, but not good, because I didn't think it was going to do that. Other effect words. Does other effect words have the word barrier in it? Does accept remove duplicates when it runs. Is that seriously how it works? Link does accept remove duplicates. Accept has a similar effect to distinct. I just discovered that accept will remove all elements in the second list from the first, but it also has the effect that, yeah, it causes a distinct. Produces a set of the difference between two sets by using the default equality compare. Well, yeah, it does the set difference. So that actually throws us into a special type of math. That's actually what that's indicating when it says set. A set specifically is not going to have duplicates. So that is, see, look, they are pointing it out. The important word is set, yeah. So in essentially the math concept here that we're talking about, and then those end up getting applied to programming as well. By using the word set, we've actually said that there are not going to be duplicates, which is why you'll find that a lot of times we'll use a hash set and things like that. And that essentially means use the hash to determine uniqueness and have a set of them, so there will only be one for each. So that's kind of indicating almost that it's like a dictionary type access. So if you know how that works, that means like essentially it's constant time access to a value within a collection that is going to have all unique values. That's essentially what you get when you have a hash set, broadly defined. Like not getting into the nitty gritties of that. But that's essentially what we're talking about. Yes, Suna, I should have an update for you guys to run your race before tomorrow. That is actually a plan. Yes, exactly. As SMD says, makes sense from a set theory perspective. Precisely. So I just hadn't realized it was going to do that. So that's like a freebie bit of behavior for us. So we essentially got that without any extra work. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to leave it alone, and we're going to call that a win. Let's go ahead and start it again, just so it's running. Past Brendan confuses present Brendan. Oh, that's very normal. Past Brendan always confuses normal Brendan, and if that is one of the signs of programming, you need to be confused by your past self, or maybe it's you will be. So anybody that's getting into programming, just be aware that you're going to confuse yourself, your future self, all the time. You're going to be like, why did I do this? What, did I do that already? And then you look and you're like, I just did a git blame. I wrote this code. I don't remember writing this code. I don't remember why, but it's here. You will do that all the time. Welcome to the world of programming, where nothing will make sense. All right, let's have a look at what we're changing here. Before I'm not worried about it. Okay, so we have this in here, so we're going to remove the to-do and add a remove duplicates method that removes duplicates. So we will say remove duplicates from status effect words. Okay, let's commit that, and we're going to push it, and GitHub Desktop is letting me know that I have an update, so I'm going to go ahead and let it do that. So there we go, updated. I love how quickly they do those updates. All right, so we mentioned this, and this is going to get resolved when we send in this pull request. So, as far as I know, that was the last thing we needed to do for that. Let's call this creating an Asuna command, and cure status effect command. What issue number was that? So that'll resolve 36. And did we actually have an issue for creating Asuna? We did not. So for anyone that doesn't know that you can do this, you can say resolves and then number, and you'll notice first off that it comes up with some guesses, but also, like, as I type these, you'll see when I type in the number 36, the text is kind of small, but it's coming up with command words for status effects allow duplicates. But I can also just type in the word duplicates, and you'll notice that it actually comes up with some options. So it'll actually search for and find those. Now here's the other cool thing in GitHub, is when I say resolves that, let's make sure that I have that open just so you can all see this. So I'm going to bring this up. It is not, this is an open issue. See, open. Whoops, that was me. I don't want to click on me. And that issue is there. And when I create this, you'll see that it puts this little, there's this really hard to see little line under the word resolves there that you can see disappearing when I mouse over it. And it pops up this little tooltip, and it says this pull request closes issue 36. So essentially what that means is, that means as soon as this gets merged in, it will automatically close this open issue because I told it resolves. So it kind of reads that text, and there's little ways to do that. So if you are using GitHub issues, you can do that kind of thing. If I didn't type in a word like resolves, notice it's underlining resolves, not the number. If I just put in the number, it would associate it. So that would mean that over on this task, it would just do this. So notice it says, Benrick linked a pull request that will close this issue now. So that's essentially, it's totally got all the metadata of what's going on there, and it wires that together. So that's one of the really cool things that I like that they, have built in here. If I had just referenced it, it wouldn't say that it closes it. So that's the neat thing about it. Okay. So I do want that to get merged in. Is there something else that we need to get to? You know what? Error. I commented I didn't want to do that yet, but I'm going to do it now. Clean up usings. There we go. What else do we need to get to? Oh, and if anyone's wondering why I have empty constructors sitting around, the reason for that is that we do a reasonable amount of serializing and deserializing of values. So it is common that you'll need an empty constructor because the deserialization process will actually use this one to create your objects rather than the the more descriptive constructor. I like, who wrote this garbage? Oh, me. Yeah, no, that's always how it works. We always find that we're the one that wrote the, like, it's common. You'll do it, don't worry. You cannot escape that. We all do it. Let's have a look at our task list. View task list. What's still out there? Oh, yeah, I'm not going to do that today. Make this lookup based on settings, not on the item. Yeah, we totally need to do that. I'm not doing that yet. What to do when not connecting? Yeah, that's a great question. What needs to get added to the Asuna command words? That's not on the settings view? Did I not do that yet? I may not have done that yet. Well, we can totally do this. Let's do it. Alright, settings. We're going to do a little bit of XAML today. Because why not? Looks like we have enable status effect commands, allow mod override, allow Asuna command. We have the gil cost for it, but we do not have the command words. So, yeah. Alright, so it should be in the battle settings tab, so we will expand that again. Okay, the dock panel is everything. That grid is the top, the data grid is the bottom. So this is what we want expanded. Whenever you're looking for... There's a handful of ways to find things. I just do it this way because I'm old-fashioned. You could also just search for the spot that I'm looking for. Now, the cool thing is, because of the way that this works, I can actually change things and it will automatically update up there. So we will see some changes literally just happen. So I need this binding on a text box. You know what? Why don't I steal from a different command word? Because that'll probably make it easier. Oh, actually, or does it go in command settings? This one's nasty and I need to fix how it works. I need to make this a grid. I never made this a data grid. I need to make it a data grid. So we're going to do this. Asuna command words. Asuna command words. It was in command settings, wasn't it? Yeah, there it was. Okay. So it does belong here. Asuna command words. Asuna command words, and then this needs to be in row 26. See, this is why I need to change this to be a data grid, because that's just dumb to do it that way. But it has existed this way since it was small, and I need to fix it. So until I go and fix it, this is the way that we're going to do it. Cure effect command words, is that what I call it? I said heal command words, but that's fine. Until I go and fix this junk. That's what it's going to do. I really should do that thing and get rid of that. Okay, so that is on the view. Why don't we do that today? We'll do that today. We'll do that today. If you're using Resharper, maybe mark these empty constructors with a used implicitly attribute. Renee, yeah, I probably could put that attribute on there, just so that Resharper doesn't yell at me about it, and it doesn't gray it out. Can you explain what is the data context in the tab items? Yeah, I can explain that. Give me 1 second, because I want to confirm that this did anything. So there they are. Notice I didn't even have to reload anything. I've got Asuna and Remedy written right there, and Heal and Cure written right there for the words for those. So those effects now have their command words down at the bottom. So those commands are totally usable. Right now, they were already usable, but now we actually have their settings displayed, so that's good. Okay, so the question was, can I explain what the data context is in the tab items? Okay, so on the tab item, essentially what I have said is for each one of these tabs, I am telling it, hey, you're binding to this section of the settings. So the settings that we're doing inside of this essentially tab screen, I have broken out the settings into different groups. So the battle settings are a set of data, and this is like a class full of stuff that we're going to be able to set. When I do a binding to this, what this means is everything inside of this tab item, let me collapse it, everything in here now considers this to be its current binding. So when I say bind to the path allow status effects, that is now saying bind to battle settings dot allow status effect. Whereas if I didn't put this up here, if this were just left as binding, which is what it happens by default, is all the data context is, effectively bound to the parent. If I left it off entirely, like this, then I would have to do battle settings dot allow status effects. And that would be how I would do the binding for each of these. But because I put data context binding battle settings, I've said for this tab item, all of its children are automatically, rooted to this spot, and when they get bound to something, that's where it is. So that's essentially saying the context for access for binding to any data in here is going to be what I bind here, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if there's still confusion. Hopefully that cleared that up, Schwartz. Does dual work? Sunamods, the short answer to that one, no. I have dual completely turned off right now. Because I will actually have to dig into that one specifically all on its own to figure out how to make dual work. Because I know that there's multiple effects that actually have to happen. So until I go do that one on its own, it will be turned off. Okay. Let's have a look at what just changed. That actually I wanted to send up as a separate thing. This is technically still part of the Asuna and Heal, so I do kind of want to get this up there into the previous pull request before that gets merged in. So let's have a look. What did we change? So I removed the to-do comments, and down here I said add the Asuna command words and add the cure effect command words. And looks like that'll just work. So, excellent. Let's commit these. Command words settings for Asuna and cure. Alright. Let's push that up as well. And since we're still on that same branch, it's actually going to add those directly to the pull request. If you didn't know that you can do that, you'll see that command words for settings for Asuna and cure, that is right there. That's the one we just sent up. So you can easily just toss additional commits onto a PR if you've already created one, as long as you push to that same branch that it is based on. Lots of GitHub info today from me. I don't know why I'm explaining GitHub so much more than I usually do. I guess it's because we're doing some things in GitHub. Okay. Since I don't think Shoji or Lucky are planning on reviewing that PR, I might just send it in and work on the next one, as The only people that are actually using this application right now are Suna and Strife, who are both here in the chat. I don't think there's anybody else that is actually running this, I mean, other than us during the stream. But if we cause a bug for us during the stream, we'll fix it. So I am actually just going to merge that in and not worry about the fact that I do want to get people to review this stuff. Alright, let's make a new branch. Bring my changes with me to master, please. All that basically is doing is just not, you know, stashing them and keeping them on the other branch, which GitHub Desktop will automatically do that kind of stuff for you. I don't want it to do that. I want it to bring these along, and we're going to call this rework, restructure settings views. Henrik, restructure settings views. I think that's a reasonable branch name. The audacity. I know, Stoolpenner. How could I possibly do that? That was terrible. Alright, so we're going to bring our changes along, and we're going to do a bit of restructure on these. So, here is the challenge. Specifically for the command settings, it's basically just a bunch of text boxes. Just text boxes. So, using a grid for this is really kinda bleh. Let's have a look at what the display is right now. Suppose you wanted to patch this after releasing it to more of your audience. So once we do an actual release, then we are going to be more strict on our branches, and we'll actually create some additional branching structure for that when we do an actual release version of this. So, what would be the best way to ensure that most people would get the update? Oh, I mean, that depends on the type of distribution that you're using. If we really wanted to make sure that people were able to get updates to these and get things deployed that way, then I might even consider doing one of those one-click deployment approaches, because then people could automatically get updates and it would just sort of happen behind the scenes and they wouldn't see it. That's not the plan I'm expecting to go. I'm planning on just doing a standard installer, at which point updates would not be like, you know, just like automatically happening. But I don't know. We haven't crossed that one yet. That is on our to-do list. If you actually checked out those GitHub issues, you would see that there is one for deciding and creating that. The one-click deploy is not a bad way to do it because you would get those updates. The only downside to that is the fact that you then need to make sure that when you do those updates, that it is okay that everybody is just getting them. Because some people might not like just automatically getting those updates. Was just double-checking your name before you spoke. You can use dual safely, but you can't use dual drain without dual. Oh, okay. That's the direction of it? There you go. See, Mr. Shoji? There's complexity with it. So the point being, I've just turned off all the dual stuff for now because it's weird. So here's what we've got. Inside of command, we have the name of the command and what its thing is. So if I want to bind this as like a data set and do a grid, we need to make that collection. So right now, that's not what we have. So inside of command settings, we just have these individual settings. All word sets actually might be the way to do it. That's only a getter, though. I can't assign over it. How do I make this work? No, I don't think we can make it just a collection. I don't think we can get away with that. Like, I mean, I would essentially just be creating an entirely new thing just to handle this. Let's have a look at our other settings, see if there's anything else that I really want to rework. A lot of these don't, take up the space very well because they're designed, really for this size screen, but you can make it bigger if you want. We just don't, move them beside it or anything like that. Yeah, I'm not seeing a bunch of stuff jumping out that I want to dive right into restructuring that. So let's have a look at our task list again. Add to the settings screen. What do we need to add? The popper command cost. That's not on the settings screen? Are you kidding me? I don't have that? Wow. We need to put that one back on. I'm actually kind of shocked that's not on there. Equipment settings. Enable popper command, but no, we do not have the, Wow. So I will steal this from menu color costs. So let's have a look at that. So let's jump up into, not this one, collapse, goodbye. We'll go into menu settings, because I am going to steal this code, and I am going to jump over to equipment, and inside of equipment we should have the main section up at the top. I'm going to collapse all these. So this one is the one that's going to have the popper command in it, and it's right there, enable popper command. And as soon as that is in there, I need to add an extra row. And then this is going to be row 4 and row 4. And so where was enable popper command? It's going to be popper command cost instead of enable. So popper command cost, two-way bind, and it needs to be bound based on that. So essentially we're disabling this if the popper command is turned off. Grid column 0. We're going to increment by hundreds on this because I don't expect anyone to set popper to be cheap. And this is going to be GIL required. This will actually, this is the label for this, isn't it? Yeah, so this is going to be shown on this page. Instead of GIL required, this is going to be popper GIL, we'll say cost. Popper GIL cost. Enable the popper command, popper GIL cost, and notice that when we do that, it resets that value. The popper command cost has a value, doesn't it? It's not incrementing either. Alright, I think that just didn't load correctly because it is a special text box. It's not a standard text box, so I'm actually going to try reloading the whole thing and just see if that works. I rarely encounter questions on the Discord where the answer is e to the x. I'm not sure what you're talking about, S&B. Ah, there we go. That loaded correctly. And now it's adjusting by the correct increment. So I was right. The text box just didn't wire up correctly because it was doing an auto reload. So, which isn't perfect. Oh, did someone ask that question on our Discord? That's funny. I am not actually currently looking at the Discord, but that is the perfect opportunity to mention to everyone in the chat that if you haven't checked out our Discord, you should. And actually, you can find a lot of our code that we do here on the stream out on our GitHub, and you can find all of our videos out on YouTube, and feel free to follow me on Twitter. Links to everything I talked about are in the chat or down below the stream or video, depending on whether you are a current live viewer or whether you are a person watching a recording in the future. Mod only. Yes, that's true. So we added in that setting. So we now have the popper cost available as a setting. Add popper cost to settings view. Okay. What is next on our task list? View. Task list. There it is. Add to settings screen. Enabled for what? Equipable settings? I think these are on the settings screen, aren't they? Because an equipable setting... I think the equipable settings are what these are. Yes, we create them for the weapons, the armlets, and the accessories. Yes. They are these. So I think those are already there. In these grids. Enabled name, item ID, and cost. Yeah. So this is already there. Enabled. Cost is there. Oh, do we have words? We do not have the words there, so that still needs to get added. But the enabled and the cost are there. And we display the item ID, though, although this shouldn't be changeable. Yeah, that's read-only. This is not. As are the names. Okay, so we need to add words to those. That's a lot of tokens, S&B. That's a lot of tokens. So remove errant to-do comments. Sure, good enough. Items are not there though. So items are these ones. So mod only right now. Items are not there yet. So that's legit. Same with materia. Those are not there yet. So I think that's actually everything that needed to get added to the screen. Though I realize we should add the materia section as well. So let's go ahead and add that. So we had a placeholder for items. That's what this is right here. I should add a placeholder for the materia as well, just so people know that that is coming. Materia. Yeah. So there's a materia tab. Oh, nobody won. Yeah, it was rigged. It was rigged. That's true. That's true. I rigged it. So this is add materia tab settings tab placeholder. We're going to commit that and push those changes. Let's jump over here. It's going to say, hey, do you want to PR this? And I do. Oh, hey, not a word, yeah. You know, S&B, your complaints about those being not words only encourages me to leave non-words in there. If I remember correctly, can't you add words to it in S&B? I think you can. Hangman commands. Has a series of operations, I think. Add hangman word operation. What's it do? Yeah, hangman add word. Hangman add. There you go. What are real words anywhere? Anyway, troll is a real word. And yes, that is the bot running over there. Okay. So what did we do in this? We cleaned up some of that. Did we actually add any? We added the popper cost. Adding popper cost and to do cleanup. Sure, we'll make a PR for that. Why not? It's a small PR. That is true. S&B is not a real word. Do you allow proper nouns, S&B? You don't like Google? How do you actually spell that? Is it like Google or something like that? Is it like that? Yeah. There's a troll one. We'll put that one in there. It's a nice one. But it is a command. Yes, it is. There is an S&B command. Okay, someone brought up at the beginning of the stream that Netcore 3.1 is out, and I actually just want to confirm real fast that we're even using Netcore 3. Okay, yeah, well, of course we are. We're doing WPF. But I'm wondering then, should we upgrade to Netcore 3.1? That might be worth doing. Yeah, I haven't looked at the 3 to 3.1 upgrade. I'm assuming it's nothing. Let's say Netcore 3 to 3.1 upgrade. Yep, that's the one. Migrate from this to this. What do they say to do? I do not rely on that. I do target framework like this. So, okay, all right. Hang on. This is complicated. What are we supposed to do? We're supposed to go from 3.0 to 3.1. Okay, we got to remember that. That's the complicated step right there. Did they do anything weird with packages? Nothing there. No. Use the component tag helper. That's not going to be a thing for me. What did they break? Oh, you know, I heard they changed some stuff about Windows Forms. I heard that they'd removed controls. Huh. Well, that doesn't look like it affects us, because we're not using ASP.NET Core or Windows Forms, we're WPF, so it looks like the extent of changes includes, roughly speaking, going into each project file and changing this number to this number. And since we don't reference any of those specific libraries that do that here, there's no change down there either. And this, we are Netcore 3.1 on these two, aren't we? We didn't, these are not net standard libraries, so that'll update. Madaski, welcome. Thank you very much for that follow. You just got your first payout from Twitch just in time for Christmas. Awesome, S&B. Congratulations on that. Now you can retire, right? That's how that works. These probably just upgraded to 1s, right? I guess we'll find out in a moment whether or not those just upgraded to 3.1s. Because I'll just try building it. And this last one, there we go. This reference anything? Nope. Very nice, S&B, yeah. Those Twitch payouts, man, they totally cover the cost of the junk that we live coders grab for our streams, like our stream decks and lighting and cameras and microphones. They totally cover that cost. That's clearly why we do it. We all of us streamers, we do it for the money. Yeah, clearly. 5 figures. Does that mean that? I assume that's including the numbers to the right of the decimal place. Correct, S&B? Yeah, exactly. The problem is there's also a decimal point. Yep, that's about what I expected. There are five digits. The annoyance is that darn decimal place. Considering I make more in an hour of work than I do in a month of streaming, you can understand why I don't, why I can't, why I don't do like a full-time stream of this. Should be quite obvious to most people. Why is the connect button not working? Oh! I know why the connect button's not working. And it's not reporting an error back to me. I should make that report an error. Because we lost all our settings when I did that. I didn't think about that. We totally lost all of our settings. And let me show you all why we lost all of our settings when we did that. This is why we lost all of our settings. Inside of here, if I go into the bin folder and the debug folder, you'll notice there's a new Netcore App 3.1 folder. So I need to go in here and I need to take my old settings files and move them out there if I want this to just work. So really, I need all the JSON files, is the short answer to that. And I think it's just these ones? Should be. Core app 3.1. Oh, put it in here. Right, I forgot it did that. Yes, how did you know I needed 10,000 of these? Alright, so let's grab here to here. Those are the files I need. There it is. And let's replace these files here. Don't want to open those because those actually do have like my key to connect to Twitch in there. Since I don't want to reset those values for that, I'm not going to show those on stream because I'm not crazy. Did this actually work? No! Oh, I must... Oh, no, it did. Okay, there we go. I was like, how did this not work? Alright, so there we go. This should have my settings now, which means status effects, some should be turned on. Yep, there they are. Okay, good. Excellent. I think that was like... Jason? Jason? Either way, welcome. Thank you for that follow. Much appreciated. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so that looks like that works. The application connected to chat. So let's go ahead and try some stuff. We're upgraded to Netcore 3.1. Let's see if I can sleep all the characters. Hey, I can. Can I assume all the characters? Whoop, whoop. Oh. Why are you guys still glowing? Oh! Removed negative effects. They're still glowing because the regen will still apply. So if I say cure regen all... so it warns me that Cloud's not unaffected, and then it attempts to remove it from the... Oh, no! Okay, Barrett's not done. There we go. Barrett's done. Excellent. The problem is the soldier attacked mid-change. That's why Barrett was, for a moment, facing the wrong direction. So as long as that animation finished, it would undo Barrett being facing the wrong way. Whew. So we will make them all peerless. I believe that should make them all... Oh, I have it disabled. Okay, well, no, I won't do that. But that does show that it seems to be working, generally speaking, after that update. There's no, like, major problems. Let's confirm one other thing, and that is localhost. This is the status display working. Let's change the colors, everyone. Color changing's working. Yep, we can go back to the default. We can go to custom palettes. And are those their current hit point levels? Yes, they are. So, and that's my party. Yep, that does seem to be working. Okay, so it looks like everything in the app is working. We definitely have our website up. Our characters are here. We're able to cause status effects. We can make menu changes. So, looks like a valid upgrade. So, upgrade from Netcore 3.0 to 3.1. Yay! Do I want a separate branch for this? I do. Because we'll send this as a separate pull request. We'll branch off of this branch. And we'll say Netcore upgrade. Yeah, back on the bleeding edge. We're not running the preview bits. Keep in mind that this used to be running the like preview bits of 3.0. That's when we were on the bleeding edge. This is like the, you know, the sharp edge. This isn't bleeding. Bring your changes with you? Yeah, sure. We can bring the changes along. Send that up. Okay, let's go ahead and have a look. What are the file changes here? That's removing some to-dos. That is adding in a row to add in the popper command cost. and I am going to say yes. You can go ahead and merge this in. I am going to merge that, and now I want to go ahead and take a look at this branch. It's going to be jump over, create a new PR, and this one should just be the upgrade. So if I take a look at the changes, that is upgrade, upgrade, upgrade. That is adjusting the package references to also be upgraded. There's 11111. Looks good. So that is the simplest change we could possibly make. This one, I want to make sure that it does get built by our build system, because I do want to confirm that that does it, because if this stops building, then that would be a problem. So we're going to wait for that little circle to become green before we merge this one in, but I think it looks good. Let's go ahead and do a couple of other things while we're at it. So I want to jump in here. Did we change much since this? You know what? Let's we're just doing this manually right now. I don't know if anybody noticed, but I'm gonna jump us up to 8 because I don't care about version numbers. These version numbers matter not at all. No one uses it yet. I saw something recently. There was a good case made by, I think it was John Skeet was making this case, but I'm sure plenty of other people have made it before. Or maybe it was, someone was making this case. Some other programmer was making this case that version numbers, we should stop starting with a major version number of 0 because we special case them so much. We should just start with 1 on these, with the idea being that, like, people expect that there is some significance to the 1.0 release of something. So, like, if your app is in, like, 0. something, that, like, 1.0 is some special thing. And I kind of agree with that, because the problem is, like, you sort of set up this expectation that, like, 1.0 is some special number, and it's like, it's not really. You're just going through numbers, so why not make your first version of your application be 1.0.0 and then add in additional numbers after that, and just start it at 1, because that way there is no, like, oh, we now have major version release, and it's like, yeah, okay. I think it's only because people have that set expectation of what that means that causes the problem, so. Who knows? Either way, gonna rev that version number, and we'll use that for the next version that we package up, build, and send out to our users. Okay. What do we want to work on next? Is there anything else that people are really, like, wanting to see built? Anything you really want me to work on with this? Thanks, Fuel Snable. I'll get right on that. Oh, look at that! Oh, it fails to build. See, I told you that might happen. Build with .NET. It can't build it. See? They haven't updated the SDK. Or I need to update the SDK that they're going to build it with. Actions. See? Told you. Told you. And welcome to the stream, Fuel Snable. Desi99, hey, what was the sleeve around the can for? It keeps it cold. It's been sitting on my desk since the beginning of the stream, and that keeps it nice and cool for when I want to drink it. So my drink is not warm. I mean, they sell them all over the place, or you can get them free at developer events. So this one that's on this can, I got this one at a developer event. Which I'm not going to turn around the logo, because as much as I like the sleeve, I'm not going to give them free advertising for that. Although I guess I'm going to give free advertising to somebody else. Like, I also have one of these ones that's just, like, loyal to the Empire thing, I've got a bunch of these. I just put put cans in these, keeps them nice and cool before I drink them. I believe you meant this one? Yes! That is probably the one I was talking about, Stool Penner. Yeah, that is probably the one. And yeah, hey Wheatlaw, welcome. And yeah, Desi, they are nice. Free advertising for the Empire? Exactly, Wheatlaw. Free advertising for the Empire. Hey, it costs a lot of money to build a Death Star. A lot of people just forget about how expensive that thing was. The destruction of property by the rebels, oh man, that is terrible. The Empire equals Facebook. The Dev Star. Yes, the Dev Star. Yes, Dev Star. Other rebellion. All right, hang on. What do we? Net core upgrade build failed. What is this? How do I edit this build though? Actions. Yeah, how do I edit the build? Oh yeah, I gotta edit the YAML file. Thank you! See? Brain. Sometimes you gotta get your brain working. And it's in here. What's in this file? .NET version, right there. .NET Core SDK. I guess I could probably just get away with saying latest, couldn't I? Yeah, .NET Core. I don't really want to download it. I want to know the version. You know, what's the you guys not just list the current version? .NET Core. Yeah, you're not just gonna tell me the version number. Cancel. There we go. So there's the number I want. Thank you. Was that so hard? Really? Alright, let's jump over to Net Core Upgrade. So essentially the idea is when I do the Net Core Upgrade, I should have put into the build instructions to update to this latest version. And so I'm going to put this on this version, with the idea being that only this version of it builds with this script. The other ones build with the other ones. So as soon as this merges into master, we use the Net Core 3.1 SDK to build. So this is what I should have in this branch. So that's funny. When you edit this, it says start like it's hilarious because it's like it knows. Upgrade SDK version. And thanks for that, S&B. You gave me the number that I was looking for. I found it elsewhere, but you totally got it for me, probably well before I ended up finding it. Alright, so let's go ahead and watch. This time it should build, so we can go over here and actually just watch. So should do this build. There's the run. That's doing the setup. And then it should go ahead and do a build of our project using the 3.1.100 SDK, and we'll see what it gives us. Doo-doo-doo. Now, in theory, it would be probably a good idea for us to put the actual build and release build process that creates either the installer or the updates or anything like that into these GitHub actions so that it happens automatically. Right now, I'm not bothering with that. I'm just letting this just do a standard build just to check and make sure that it does build somewhere that's not my computer. Which I'd recommend to everyone, even if you don't run any automated tests, even if you don't, have any, UI tests actually going and clicking through, or any integration tests or anything like that, even if you don't have a build and deploy process as part of your continuous build server, at least do a build, at bare minimum. Because that at least confirms, hey, this code compiles on a machine that's not the original developer's machine. And in this case, I think I don't know what I assume with all these services that they grab like the cheapest agent they can possibly get. Yeah, builds on my machine. I mean, that is very true because it does build on your machine, but that doesn't necessarily help. So just gotta wait for that to go. Works for me. Done. Yeah. Fritz probably likes the builds on my machine stuff. Come on, let's go. Give me that green check mark. Oh, it built. Okay, so it should be completing now. This is probably like telling GitHub about it. 8 warnings. I'm not surprised by that. What are the warnings? X is declared and not used. That says it's never used. They probably actually are. Yeah, those are probably actually all really getting used. The warnings are probably not correct there. Yay, green check mark. Alright, I am going to merge this in, mainly because this one is an SDK change, and since it builds and works, I want that into the master branch as soon as possible for this, just in case anybody else does anything with it. I want them running latest. Okay, so what is this? This offset mapping needs to be completed. Yep, totally does. So, to explain what these are, actually requires a little bit of information, and we could even like cheat engine to talk about how this works. And if you don't know what cheat engine is, I've talked about it previously on the stream, but it is actually a piece of software. Essentially what it's designed to do is to look at existing applications and find values and change them. So that's why it's called cheat engine. It's essentially you can take any game and just modify values in the game. So it would work kind of like a Game Shark if you ever used one of those back in the day, except that it's more utility. Like you can find the value you're trying to replace. So that's kind of the concept. Cheat engine is actually one of the ways that I find the values that we need to modify in order to alter the game. So it essentially just lets you search a running process and try to find essentially what is... sorry about the gray screen, everybody. Needs access control to run. But this is cheat engine. It's just a program that lets you just search the addresses in memory of another program. And it works pretty well. But essentially what I would want to do to help find these, because I don't think I'm the one that wrote this note, but maybe I am. There is additional information about the battle that is going on, so when the characters are in combat in the game, there's a lot of additional information that we are not yet pulling and reading and doing stuff with, and this is, like, you know, a spot where we can pull more stuff. So essentially what this is saying here is that, well, let's put this into decimal so we can read it. This is saying that an individual battle actor, so essentially a combatant in the battle, has this many bytes worth of data, and you know, the first bit of data is their status, and then we've got the row, the current HP, max HP, current MP, max MP, and their level. So there's a lot of information about a character when they're in combat. Yeah, that didn't come back up. Why didn't that come back up? Hang on. That is a great question. Yeah, it won't give me the monitor display. Huh. Well, I guess I don't get to show you those values. I was just kind of talking about them then. The way I know how to fix that is to restart OBS, which would be really annoying. Maybe I can add it as a new source. I'm trying to get the monitor to display. Let me see if I can get the... Let's try and add a new display capture. Can it... Oh, you know what? Going through the sources somehow fixed it. I went to add a new source and somehow that reset it. So, yay! Alright, what's going on in chat? Because I know I wasn't paying attention to all of that. Anything involving macros makes the Scala compiler go into a crawl menu random. You cannot see my screen. You just have two classes, one property. What is going on? Which? Oh, the I swear it's not rigged. Yeah, we're only a few months away from the from the anniversary of that quote, the 2-year anniversary of that quote. Yes, so it's totally rigged. We'll make a new quote for that. Yeah. Lime. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. Essentially, the idea is in your memory. There is in the memory of the game. While you're in combat, they're using all of this information to essentially store data about the combatants. So if we were to actually put this in closer to be like order, it would, be more like this. Obviously. Current HP, and then these would switch as well, right? So it would be like this. But then there'd be other values in here as well. Whoops, actually, that is after this one. So now those are sorted. So inside of the memory, we've got, starting out, we have the status, which I forget how many bytes it uses for status, but there's some amount of data used for determining the status. There is the current row that they're in, there is the character's level, there is the current MP, their maximum MP, their current HP, their maximum HP, and each of these takes up a few, bytes of data for these values. And then there are other values in here as well. So all of this information is obviously in memory when it's running, and this map is to essentially, take that data and use it. This is what the offsets are for each character. So if we take a look at how this is used, you'll notice when we create the FF7 battle map, which is the class that's the Seng status overlay is using to display its data, it's essentially going through each of the battle actors, and it's saying for each one that we're supposed to look at, go ahead, jump in, and find the offset based on the amount of space each actor has in memory, and it's going to create a new one by just converting its value. So in this case, we are taking essentially the raw bytes and the offset for where it starts, and then adding in the offset for how far into that do we go to get to the current HP, how far into the offset do we go to get to the max HP, how far do we go to get to the current HP, the MP, the level, the status, and essentially it's how far into that record do we need to go to find the data is essentially how it is working. And then that gets stored as one of the actors. And then that gets us our information for when we do the status display. So if you saw our status display that we were showing earlier, that is actually where that comes from. It is just, reading those bits out of the memory of the game and telling us what those values are at any given point. But obviously there's more information about the characters than just their current HP, max HP, current MP, etc. So what that task is saying is we need to find some of the additional information rather than just this small subset. We should just be reading pretty much all of it, because then we can actually show some, more stuff about what's actually going on. And I think having more information is not just going to help us display it for our users, but is going to help us as the programmers figure out what data needs to be there. Can't you simply declare a struct with the integers and such where the total length would be equal to the actor length and then deserialize it? Wheatlol, essentially, yes. We can create an object that matches that type and just try to yank it out of memory. That is correct. We can do that. But if we were going to go that route, we need a better idea of that structure. So they have that... I forget what C# calls it. There is a way that you can tell C# specifically to use the exact structure that you are telling it to make those types, and you can specify like the number of bytes for each chunk of data that you're using. But I forget what it is. I don't remember exactly what those are, but yes. In theory, yes, we could do that. That is not the way this is written right now. So that is updating version number, and that is just reordering some stuff. Okay, so... You know what? Let's new branch. By that we mean... bring my changes with me to master, pull master, so we're going to essentially fetch those changes that we sent up there. You're going to yell at me about these local changes? Thanks. Thanks, thing, yeah. How nice of you. Don't let me pull, because, there'd be so many problems with that. Thanks. That was so hard. Wasn't that difficult? Man, I cannot believe how difficult that was to do. It wasn't difficult. Alright, I don't want to make these changes on master. I want to create a new branch, and I don't care what the branch is. So git checkout -b tempo? Sure, tempo, why not? Update app version number. And this is reorder the battle actor offsets. Stash for the win. Yes, exactly, Simon. Which kind of bugs me that GitHub Desktop didn't just do that. It's like, why don't you just try seeing if you can just stash the changes, pull latest, and then pop it off the stash? Ah, there we go. Thank you, S&B. That's the one we were looking for, which is essentially... Where is this, by the way? That's in Final Fantasy Constants. What do we want to call this? I almost want to call this structs, mem. I'm gonna just call it mem models for now, which is a terrible name. And then won't worry about it. So we'll call this battle actor mem map for now. So if we did this, I think that is essentially what we are saying that we would want to do, which actually I'm going to look that up before we actually look at anything to do with this, to make sure that I don't screw it the heck up. Okay, so we can set the field offsets like that. So the reason we want to do explicit and set these offsets is because we don't have names for all of the other properties if we do that. So if we did sequential, we'd be looking for them to be in that exact shape. Since we don't have that, we don't have all the values, we can't do sequential, we have to do explicit. We need a PowerShell version of the Bash extensions with the... Yes, basically, Simon. F# Weekly had a link on a new blog F# performance trick. It was my old Stack Overflow docs post on the subject. Good. Nice, Fuel Snable. Yeah. Yep, I will often Google for things and be like, oh yeah, I need to read this. Wait a minute, I wrote this. I'm reading the thing I wrote. That's familiar. Oh, right, we're going to do this. Okay. Let's side-by-side these for now. Okay. So field offset's the thing we need like this. So we need this, though these are not the fields we want. We would need to know what these values are. So let's do these. So that's 0. Let's make these decimal for our own brains. Okay, so we have 0, 4, 9, 40, 42, 44, and 48. And that is status, row, level, current MP, max MP, current HP, and max HP. There we go. Alright, so let's talk about what these different types are. So let's not save that for now. So we're going to have a look at the battle map. So current HP, so these are int 32s. So HP values are int 32s. So instead of writing int, I am going to make these int 32 because I want to be very explicit on these. So those are going to be system int 32s because MP, if we have a look at this, these are int 16s. So these need to change to be int 16. Level, what is level? Is level a byte? Level is a byte. That's hilarious. I guess it would be a byte because it never exceeds 100, so it doesn't need to be anything more than a byte. Okay. Status is an int 32, I guess. What did it do? It's an int32 that is a status effect. Does it do anything special with it? I wonder if I can get away with this. Can it use that? Can it use that enum and just automatically map that? I bet it can. Funny enough. Is back row. This is special. I think for is back row, oh, no, that's a special thing based off of that one. We are just checking row. So row is a byte. Row, we just need a single byte. Yeah, there we go. What is this? You could use u-long and u-short rather than int30. Yes, I could use other values for those. Is it a u-long? It's a u-short for 16, but it's not a. It'd be a u-int for int32. These would be u-int. Whoops, u-int. And this would be a U short, no U longs. We don't have any 64s here. So, which funny enough, I think I actually use U short elsewhere in the application. But yes, you are correct. I could use bytes, shorts, and uints. Okay, fun explanation time for anybody that's confused what we're talking about and why there are two different ways of specifying that. So, there's int and int32 in C#. So int, like this, that you're used to seeing, and then there's also int32. Int32 is a type that exists in .NET and .NET Core. That is a system type. It exists in here. It is system int32. If I remove that, you'll see they're not available. However, int for int or uint for uint, these are types that exist in the C# language. However, because of the way that it gets compiled and built, you can essentially think of these as being just shorthand ways of accessing the other type. So this is like a language-like alias to that other type, is the way you should probably think of this. So, for anyone that thought that was confusing and weird when that suggestion to change to that came in, that's all that means. Okay, okay, so let's say C# byte array to that. Convert byte array to short? No. Yeah, we have one of these. Where is the... What do we actually call to do this? No. It was even more confusing coming from VB6 back in the day. I used VB6 back in the day. It was fine. Layout kind. Yeah. Okay. So they. Can I deserialize this from? Yes, there we go. This is what I'm looking for. In VB6, long was int, and int was int64. Oh, yeah. There you go, Simon. Christmas came early for you, asking for an in-depth explanation on this for years. Oh, the configure await stuff. Oh, nice. I'll have to take a look at that. You should. No. Must include deserialize. Yes. All right. Does not follow in. Ah, here we go. I think this is what I'm looking for. Maybe. No, I don't want that. How do I... Ah, okay, here we go. Byte array to new stuff. Yeah, that's the one I want. Byte array to new stuff. Yep. That's what I want. That's what I want. Public static. No, this is not the final name. I just want to have somewhere to put the code that'll compile. Byte array to structure. Yeah, there we go. Where T is a struct. Let's say to type. Alright, so what is it? Crazy to think C# pretty much 20 years old now and not going anywhere anytime soon. Yes! That is absolutely true, Simon. It is crazy to think that C# really has been around for about 20 years and is still fairly used. The imperative functional crossover will eventually throw up a new language that becomes widely used. S&B, I think you're right. I think we're about to get some new changes in programming that we're going to see, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Only time. Alright, so what is this? T stuff. Sorry, I take device. Pointer to structure. Coated Beard, greetings, welcome. Hey, Jens Duck, welcome. It has been a long time. Welcome to the stream. JavaScript is the final language. I don't know that that's necessarily true, Fuel Snable, but we'll see. And good evening, everyone. It's Quacktastic. Oh, man. Oh, man. That it is. It is, in fact, Quacktastic. Not really going to wear a hat on stream. I don't really wear hats on stream. What kind of crazy person would wear hats on stream? Okay, so helper class. Let's call this... Okay, this will be the 2-type extension for now. And we're going to move it to its own file. So it's going to live over there. And we're going to see if it can make one of these or not. So in theory, it just needs bytes that are of the size that this thing is supposed to be. Can I tell it how big this is? The size. Yeah, size. And that's got to be the size in bytes, right? So if we take a look at the previous one, didn't that say, where is it? Constants. There it is. So we're going to say that is the actual size of this thing. What is this? It just got better. Glad to hear it, Jen's Duck. Glad to hear it. Welcome. How... yeah. Need to find your hard hat. Whoa, 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 whoa. Sorry everyone. Menu's not going. Let me get it running real fast because I think it's currently should be building. So we'll get the app going and then go back to coding this for now, just so that that menu can at least be controlled because people are trying to control it, like Jen Stuck there. Do. There it is. Alright, now 1 second. I need to do this before it'll work. There it goes. Okay, should work for you now. If you want to control menu colors, there you go. Steel blue. Waiting to see if the conversation thingy-mabob works. I admit I'm wondering if this is going to work. I don't know if this is going to work. We're going to have to find out if this is going to work. What do we want to do? We want to get a, let's go make sure we do this right. Let's go read about these. What do we want? Question is, can we get away with using a span instead of an array? Or is it going to yell at us about that? Map. We want to go from offset Because, I mean, technically we're going to, you know, skip offset, and then we're going to take the offsets dot actor length, right? That's essentially what we would want, and then to array it. And then we would want to say to type. And the type would be battle actor mem map. So this technically would get us there, although I don't like the way it does it. So essentially we could do that to just read out the object. Sorry, Fuel Snable. Yeah. Ooh, I like the little glow effect there, Jen's Duck. That looks nice. No, Simon, I don't have a project command to tell you about what project we're working on at any given time. And the reason it's yelling at us right now with the squigglies is because the app is running and I'm changing the code while it's running, so that's why it's underlining everything. It's getting quite mad at us. It says, "What are you doing, dude? What are you doing?" Okay, so if I made a version of this battle actor that had a constructor, that took in a battle actor memory map like that, this could either be like the backing object that this one uses and this just becomes, you know, a fancy little thing to that, or this potentially, this could all disappear and we could maybe give, wonder if we could get away with this. Bool is macro. And just base it on the row value. Actually, I probably wanted to keep that, didn't I? Row, and that equals that. And then that's the return value. Would that break things? Hey, Blue Spide, welcome. Worst feature of VS. What's the worst feature of VS? Oh, that I can change things while it's running and it underlines squiggles everything? Is that what you mean? Jen's Duck, I think I require that you either use all named colors or all hex colors, if I remember correctly, but maybe I allow you to mix and match. I don't remember. FF7 Twitch bot cheat thing? I wouldn't say cheat thing. If anything, it makes it harder. Allows Twitch chat to mess up the FF7 run for a streamer from benign to evil. Yes, you can technically help them too, but yeah. Let's chat, just mess with everything, names of characters, menu colors, you can give status effects or remove status effects, you can add good status effects, bad status effects, you can change out the player's equipment, their materia, their items. It's basically just mess with the player while they're playing. You're new to programming, you're in your first year of your Bachelor of Science and Engineering in Computer Science Engineering, maybe? I'm not sure. What is being developed, what is used for? Yeah, so we're building an application that gives chat control of the game. And welcome. Hopefully you're enjoying programming. Sorry I missed your chat message when you sent it a few minutes ago. Edit and continue almost never works. Where is my, you have to be in break mode to edit? Oh yeah. Yes, edit and continue I don't usually use. I just kind of was in there once. Is there a property offset? almost want that, but no, we'll just do field offsets on these. And do I want to adjust these names to be like this? We don't need properties on these. This is just a read-only, just value object. So maybe I'm going to do this, and look at, not this one, this one. Status level. There is nothing about this that I don't have in mine already. So I kind of want to see if we can't get rid of this one and use our new one instead. And actually make, well, that's actually a good point. Maybe this should just be maybe this should be that one then. Let's rename. No, don't do that. Okay, so that's going to be our new battle actor with that type. We don't need this one, so this will be A. Like that. Now to find out what we just broke. Cannot go from uint to int. That's true. I can't do that. uint ushort. I think I can get away with that, but we're about to find out what's going to happen. Short to uint. Max HP was a short. Tell you what. Wait, I can't set those? Hang on, let me see which one's is yelling at me about. There's no way it needs more than that. Did I really, in my battle actor, give it that much? U short and U int. For current. Wow, U int, really? 4 bytes. It takes 4 bytes for that? I cannot believe they took 4 bytes for that. So that's a uint. Wonder how safe it is to do that. These are U shorts, aren't they? Oh, I really need to change up those types everywhere. So we're gonna just put a little note telling us to fix types. Just use doubles everywhere. Yeah, Fuel Snibble, why aren't I just using doubles everywhere? What a great idea. Oh, man. So, I think it builds. Let's find out if this is working at all. Okay, site's coming up. Current HP seems to be correct. I connected that to chat, didn't I? Regen all. Regen, they're listed as having regen. So yeah, it's pulling out the status effects. Looks like it's reading everything, so yay. Our code seems to work. Because it is updating, you can see HP values are updating over here as the characters gain their hit points. So all the values seem to be updating as we expect them to. They have their correct MP amounts, they have the right statuses and everything like that, so so yep, confused, sleeped, and petrified. Seems like it's working. So awesome. So that's getting rid of that battle actor right here, replacing it with this one. So instead of doing the mapping here, we're just telling it what the types are and just yanking it out into the structure. And we have this that should adjust it to that each time. So marshal it into our object. I need a better way of doing this, the skip and the take. I should say slice a span. Can I get away with doing this? Oops, not int, byte. Okay, so what are the values of this? Is this, so that's start and then a length? Okay, so that is this value. Now the question is, can I adjust my can I adjust my to type to be what I want it to be? Can I make it take a span of bytes instead of an array of bytes? And can I make it work with a span instead of an array? That's the question. Span of bytes is not assignable to object. Let's see. Internet. Please help me for a second. Span of T. What did they say about this? Do they allow us to do this? Pinnable memory handler. Well, there might not be an easy way to do this. So I might just back up and switch back to this, and then I'll do that, and then make myself a note to fix this, to change this later. To do. Make a span of t version of this. Okay, so that gets us this object created there. We're just going to split that, create that. Okay, map battle actor directly from byte array. Congrats, Tempo. You get created on GitHub until I come up with a better name for you. And clean up the usings. Cool. All right, I like the direction that's sort of going. Hopefully Shoji is here and sees some of those, because this is really getting into Mr. Shoji's code quite a bit, and I'm betting if I mention his name and he is still lurking in chat that he will hear that. Anyway, so a couple of things I want to talk with all of you about. So next Saturday. On the stream, I will not be able to do next Saturday, and I will not be able to do next Sunday. So, I want to do a makeup stream for next week, and the way that I want to do that is by doing maybe like a Friday stream this coming Friday, which is Friday the 20th of December. So we're gonna try to do a stream then. We'll see what I end up doing with that one. I'm not sure if we're going to do a guest or anything like that, since that'll be like, you know, our that might end up being our holiday special one. We'll see. I don't think I'm going to do as crazy a holiday special as we did last year. Where last year, you might remember, we did a crazy stream where we invited a whole bunch of people on to just hack on a program with us. So we'll see what we end up doing with that. We don't, as I said, we don't normally do Friday streams here. For, you know, like our people that have been watching DevChatter for a long time know we used to do Monday, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, but right now my schedule doesn't let me do that, so we've been just doing the Saturday streams because obviously I'm not, you know, at work on Saturdays, so this has, you know, done well enough for us, so I'm going to try to do that one. So it should be a Friday stream, I know I said, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to mention about that. Don't know if I'm going to grab a guest. I might try to convince a guest to hop on the stream. We're probably not going to work on it on i7 on that Friday stream. It's probably going to be like a one-off stream of something. So, oh, S&B, it works mapping the bytes. So this functions and it runs, and we are pulling out the data. So this screen has all the stuff you're expecting to see here, updating directly from the actor map. So yay! Trying to think of what other things I want to mention. So probably going to do some kind of one-off. I don't know what it's going to be, so maybe we'll try to program something. Like last year we did a little JavaScript game. We haven't done that in a long time, so maybe we'll do something like that or some other one-off. So as I said, don't know what Friday's stream will be, but I do expect it'll be a good one. Is the bot working at all? Nope, bot's not working at all. Okay, well, let me go restart the DevChatter bot. I'm going to stop that and start it again. Just so it is going. No. The site cannot be reached. That is a lie. So it pops that up when it has not successfully killed the previous version of it yet. It pops up that screen for us. Yeah, hey. So the old one's still running and not dead yet. There it goes. No. Oh, I thought I had it. Well, no, we're not going to make it happen. So I'm going to give up. I don't care about the links. Because there are links down below in the chat. Either way, one-off sounds cool, no JavaScript. So Katrina doesn't want us to do JavaScript, but we'll see what we do. As I said, I don't know who the guest will be. I'll try to convince someone to hop on the stream with me. We'll talk with some of our past guests and see who wants to code. And other than that one, should be good. I want to make sure that I thank everybody for hanging out today. I enjoyed this stream. We did a couple of interesting things. We got some cool stuff. I got to talk a lot about how XAML works. For those of you that are not familiar with WPF, we talked about a bunch of things related to using static resources in those, value converters and the like. Did a lot of talking about GitHub and other stuff like that. So, and then at the end, we got some fun with structs and memory mapping, so that was also kind of an interesting one. So if you missed any of that, keep in mind that this whole video is recorded. You can see it in the video section here on Twitch, and at a delay, it will also be up on our YouTube channel. There are links to the YouTube channel down below the stream, so feel free to check those out. Make sure, if you are new here, that you hit the follow button, as that is the best way to get notified when our stream goes live. And I will try to have my lighting fixed before the next stream, but we'll see how that goes. I care more about the code than I do about the fact that there's this box around me. It's mostly that it's going to distract some of the coding section down here. So let's go ahead and roll our credits at least. And then we'll do our little outro. But Katrina and S&B, thank you very much for hanging out and helping out with the stream. And Strife and Stolepenner too, I guess, because we're all the way down to there. And thank you to these wonderful people for following us, as well as the Twitch resub of Nate. So thank you everyone for hanging out today, and all of our subscribers for being here. Hopefully you all enjoy our fun emotes. I know Katrina used my favorite of our emotes, our shock emote there. That is absolutely my favorite one. If you are not a member of our Discord yet either, make sure to check that out, as that is a great way to chat with all of us outside of the stream and to know when we go live. Probably my guess for the Friday stream is going to be around our usual time, so like in the early afternoon my time, so around when we started today would be my guess. So either way, thank you for hanging out everyone, and I will see you next time. Happy coding, everyone!